got our good friend, Chef Chris Kizer, here with us this morning. And, man, I know it's been a little while, but glad to have you back. And you got something good for us.
I do, and I'm glad to be back. So today we are going to be doing a savory breakfast polenta that's going to be served with some sauteed winter greens and some fried eggs. So kind of off air before we got started, I went ahead and started our base for our polenta.
Okay.
So in the pot itself, I just started with some butter, some diced onions, a little bit of red pepper flakes, and a little bit of just parsley and rosemary, just to kind of give it a little bit of depth of flavor.
Yeah.
So we're kind of waiting on that to come to a boil. And once that does come to a boil, we'll go ahead and add our grits in. So when you're making grits, just so you know, or polenta, they're pretty interchangeable.
Right.
It's going to be a 4-to-1 ratio, so 4 parts water to 1 part of the polenta itself. So that thing will actually expand quite a bit.
Yeah.
So while that water's getting hot, we're going to go ahead and start with our winter greens. So I've already got a cast iron pan here that's got a little bit of butter in it that's preheated. So we're going to go ahead and start off by adding some of our diced onions.
Get this out the way here.
Here, okay. Actually, you know what? We'll just go ahead and add it on.
Now, when it comes down to cooking with skillets, you prefer cast iron to, non-stick skillets, or?
Yes.
Okay.
And the main reason for that is at home I have an electric cooktop.
Right.
And I prefer, honestly, as a chef to work on a gas cooktop.
But it cooks hotter, right?
Exactly. Well, not that it cooks hotter, but it cooks a lot more evenly across the pan.
Okay.
But cast iron, it works really well as a heat conductor to evenly distribute the heat. So you get a little bit more control, or a little better control, I guess I should say. And they're still gonna, as long as you preheat your pan beforehand, it's still gonna act like a non-stick pan.
Gotcha.
So that's just the biggest thing. I've met a lot of people who make that mistake, and they will just, I was one of those people early on. I would throw it in the cast iron cold, and I would get so mad because I'm like, why is everything sticking? Well, it was because the pan didn't have time to release the oils.
Right, got you. Okay, that makes sense.
But that's a really good question. But yeah, that's my main reason. Plus, there's kind of a little bit of nostalgia being able to cook with cast iron. Most of my cast iron comes from family members or estate sales that I find.
Absolutely.
So there's always history with them.
My grandma loved cooking with cast iron.
Oh,
so,
absolutely.
Yeah.
And there's some people that's all they cook with. Now, I'm not saying that's all I cook with. I'll cook with everything.
Right.
But definitely just brings back some memories, I guess.
Absolutely.
So you can already start to smell that bacon kind of getting aromatic. We're not looking for a whole lot of color on the vegetables. We're just looking to kind of sweat the vegetables and get them slightly translucent. You can kind of see right now we've got a little bit more color to the onions themselves.
A little bit of brown.
So we're going to go ahead. I think right now is a perfect time to add in our spinach. Now this is just whole leaf spinach that I got from the store.
Okay.
And just cut most of the roots off, or the stems off, excuse me. The stems are just going to be a little bitter. So we're going to go ahead and put those over the top.
Okay.
Do a little salt.
So we got our butter boiling.
We do. So we're pretty much ready to add the polenta.
Okay.
We're just going to salt, pepper, and then I've got a little chicken broth right here.
Now, is this one of those breakfast items that it looks more complicated than what it actually is?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. This is definitely more of a visually appearing dish.
Right.
It's going to have a lot of different colors. You're going to have the nice bright green that's going to pop against the white from the polenta, and then with the eggs on top, it should give it a nice color contrast.
Plus, you got the red from the bacon. And
Exactly. I'm going to reach across.
Oh, no problem.
So now that this is up to a boil, we're going to go ahead and add in our polenta. Okay. It's going to take about 10 to 15 minutes for this polenta to boil to get to the right consistency anyways.
Yeah.
So it should be finished up about the time we get back from our second segment.
Okay.
Right there. And we just kind of want to stir this every so often so that way it doesn't start to clump up on us.
Right.
And I'm going to drop our heat down to about a medium heat so that way it simmers versus rolling boil.
Yeah. Now we got about 30 seconds left, so you're just letting this part just kind of just simmer and cook, right?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. And see, at this point now, we're just going to try to get the spinach down. And we're just going to cook the spinach just ever so lightly to really just soften it a little bit. We don't want to just kill it.
Sounds good.
So,
smells good, too.
Well, perfect. So by the time we get back, this will for sure be done. We'll come back, we'll hit the eggs, and then we'll plate it all up.
Sounds good, man. Chef Chris, he's back with us. Coming up on Today in Amarillo, we'll have a look at we are back with our good friend Chef Chris Kizer, and man, so he's showing us the finished touches.
Yep.
On this polenta this morning.
Yep. So this polenta itself here is thickened up quite a bit, and I'll try to show you so you can see it at home. You can see how thick it is. It's almost like mashed potatoes consistency-wise.
Yeah.
Like I was telling you off screen, most people that I've met that do not like grits, the main reason for it is because they have them when they're really undercooked.
Yeah.
And so these, honestly, have been cooking the entire time that we've been off air.
Right.
And they've just now got to where they are good enough, in my opinion. So if you're trying them at home and they taste gritty, just give them more time.
Yeah.
Add a little bit more liquid, just give them time. So I just went ahead and added some goat cheese there just to, again, add some depth of flavor. Now, while that goat cheese is melting, we're going to go ahead and start our fried eggs.
Okay.
I've got our cast iron pan here already pretty warm. Kind of get that butter spread out a little more.
Now, as we fry the eggs up, when it comes down to the grits and the polenta, they're supposed to be thick, but how do you kind of keep them from getting, too thick where they're almost like dry and just, not very good?
So that's a good question. I always like to have a couple of different options. One, always have a little extra stock or milk, whatever it is that you are using.
Okay.
Always have some of that handy to help thin it out some. But if not, you can also use you can use a multitude of things. Like the cheese that I'm using here actually will help not only thin it out, but it also helps, as weird as it sounds, it also helps glue it back together.
Right, yeah.
So that is also a good option because you can use some that are higher in fat contents that will thin it out more.
Yeah.
But main options are going to be either stock, creams, butters, anything like that you can add liquid-wise.
Now, did you go with goat cheese because it tends to be a little more creamy?
I actually went with it more or less because of the flavor profile. I knew that we were going to have with the spinach, it's going to kind of have earthy tones, and then with the bacon, you're going to have the fattier tones.
Yeah.
So I wanted kind of a mustier cheese to kind of help complement those and balance the flavors out so it doesn't lean one way or the other.
Okay.
So our eggs are just going here. So while those are going, we'll go ahead and start building our plate because those are just about ready.
Okay.
So I'm going to start off by doing a couple good heaping spoonfuls of our polenta. That goat cheese really does come through pretty nice aromatically. Set that right there. Next we'll take our spinach. Right to the middle.
And all in all, how long would you say that this took to make start to finish?
The longest time was honestly just the polenta itself.
Yeah.
The spinach, you saw we were able to do that on air. That took us about 2 to 3 minutes.
Yeah.
The eggs, same thing, 2 to 3 minutes.
Okay.
So this is a great thing to do kind of if you're in the morning, you've got your morning routine. Start your polenta. You can even do it in a slow cooker.
Okay.
Go ahead and get that started and then do your morning routine. Get the rest of your stuff going right at the end and then that way you're not stressed. Cooking shouldn't have to be super stressful at home, and if it is, again, take a deep breath.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah. And the good thing about cooking at home is even if you mess up, nobody else has to eat it.
No.
And then you can always just start over.
Well, and not to mention, everyone makes mistakes in the kitchen. Everyone, myself included.
Absolutely.
So, and that's the only way you're ever going to learn is by making those mistakes.
Trial and error.
Exactly. But at the end of the day, that is the whole breakfast.
Man, there you go. Quick, easy, and it looks like it's definitely fulfilling. All right, man, Chef Chris, thanks so much for being here. Always glad having you.
Thank you again for having me again.
Absolutely.
Look forward to it again.
Absolutely. We'll do it all over. And for more information or for more recipes from Chef Chris,